to my channel. I am Becca, and in today's video tutorial, I am going to show you how I'm going to start removing this clear finish here to get it ready for a paint wash. And in order to do so, I am going to use this product here by Minnow Wax. It's called the Furniture Refinisher, and I'm going to use it with a 00 steel wool. And the goal here is just to remove the top layer of clear coat. And rather than using your harsh strippers, which would break down the glue that's between the veneer and the frame of the drawer, I don't want to do that. So that's why I'll be using the Furniture Refinisher today, because I feel personally that it will keep the integrity of this crotch veneer. So let's get started. I am going to now take off all the knobs to the drawers. So I find it very handy that when I'm taking off knobs, that I always have some kind of bucket laying around. That way I don't lose any pieces, because majority of the time I'm going to reuse the knobs. And that's why I like to keep them all together so nothing gets lost. So I am just going to finish up removing all the knobs, and then we will start working on removing the clear coat. So I've removed all the knobs, and our next step is going to be removing that top clear coat on these drawers. And so you always want to make sure that you are using your proper gloves, and I suggest using the rubber ones, not like the surgical gloves, because this product does eat through the gloves. These, not so much. So I have this pot that I like using for this kind of stuff. So I'm just going to pour it in, and then we're going to take our steel wool. And you want to make sure that it's pretty soaked on into the steel wool. And then you're just going to do circular motions on top. And then you will start to see that clear coat coming off, because it leaves kind of like a residue on the finish. And so you just want to make sure you're rubbing it all over. And this is going to take a couple passes of getting that top layer off. And then once you have removed that top coat, you'll want to go back over it with a clean new one of these. And so you'll just take a new one, and you'll dip it in, and then you will wipe all of that back. And you will see all the gunky stuff that is left, and you just want to make sure that that gets all removed. And it does dry quick, so you have to use a good amount of it. And you will start to see that finish become dull, and that means that you're getting somewhere with it. This process definitely takes a good amount of time. So now, since the first drawer is done, I've got 4 more to go, but I wanted to show you the in-between process. So this drawer has not been yet cleaned with that product. And do you see how shiny that is? And then this drawer, which I just finished, look at that. Totally different. So that's the end game here, is to get this to look like this. And once we've completed all the drawers, then I'm going to show you what the next step is. So make sure that you have a ton of these on hand, because you do go through them like crazy. You just want to rub back and forth, a circular motion. Make sure that we're really working that clear coat off. So you're probably wondering why I am using this Restore Finish to remove the clear coat versus sanding it off. And so, like I said before, strippers are very hard on veneer, and sometimes you have a chance of the glue lifting. Well, sanding has its own issues. So depending on how thin your veneer is, when you sand it, you can sometimes break through that really thin layer to your bottom piece. And you don't want to do that, especially when you're dealing with something that's a figured veneer like this is. And so I want to take the extra precaution not to do anything of the sorts, because then that would turn into a whole other issue. And so as you can see here, see that top line right there where it's kind of like darker? That's how thin this veneer is. And if I were to sand that, I would easily go right through that. So this is definitely the best option that I've found to work with veneers such as this. So I have a couple more drawers to go, and then we will get moving. So here's a little tip for you guys. When you are using this product and you pour it into your pot, make sure that you only do a little bit at a time, because this stuff totally evaporates. And so also keep your lid on. That way you're not burning through product before your furniture piece is even done. So make sure to keep that in mind. And so we've got 2 more drawers to go, and then we can move forward. All right, so this is the very last drawer, and it's got all this detailing. And so I'm just going to use a toothbrush, and I'm going to dip it in the solution, and then I'm just going to get into all those little areas that are hard to get with your steel wool. That way you can make sure to get all that product off so that we can continue forward. All right, so now since all the details have been cleaned, I want to make sure that the entire surface is super clean. So I'm going to take a brand new steel wool pad, and you want to dip it in your solution, and then you just want to wipe everything back. Make sure that you didn't miss any little gummy spots left on the wood. And so you just want to give it a nice, good scrub with the clean steel wool pad. And then just wipe it back, just like so. Make sure you get all those spots off. And then we're done, and we can move on to the main highboy. Yay! All right, so now I'm going to start on the top, and we're going to do the same process that we did on the drawers on the top. Top looks like it's got a little bit more clear coat on it, so this might take a little extra time, but you're just going to do the same process that you did on the drawers. We're just going to do a circular motion to get all that clear coat off. Remember, work in small batches because this stuff definitely evaporates. Okay, so now I am down to the last panel, and then we'll be able to move forward on the rest of this makeover flip. And just remember, when you're using this refinisher product, make sure that you're in a ventilated area, because this stuff can get pretty potent. All right, so I've completely removed all the coating off this entire highboy. And now I'm going to take 220 grit sandpaper and lightly go over the surface by hand, just so that in case there's all those little gummy marks that maybe I missed on the top surface, I'm just going to smooth that off, and then I'm going to wipe it down, and then we're going to get ready to roll on this thing. So like I said, you just want to lightly go over it by hand. Not too hard, just light, medium pressure. And be careful when you get near the edges when you're working with veneer, because sometimes the sandpaper, even though you're doing it by hand, can take a bit of that finish off and you see the undercoating of that veneer. So I finished sanding the top of this by hand, but I wanted to show you all that gunk that's on there. And see, I clearly missed some pieces, or missed some spots, I should say. So that's what I'm talking about. You just want to make sure that you get all that little crummy stuff off this so that you have a completely smooth surface, so that when you go to do anything, you don't have leftover buildup. Now we're going to do the sides. I've already done the drawers, and then we are going to do the rest of this. And the next step here is to do bleach.
Please make a note to join us next week as we explore the topic of using bleach. Don't forget to like and subscribe.